Is Richmond Raceway a short track or NASCAR's smallest super speedway? For generations, drivers have argued the answer, but when the green flag drops, the debate doesn't matter. A three-quarters of a mile, Richmond is all about rhythm. Long straightaways reward horsepower. Tight sweeping corners demand patience, precision, and the confidence to race inches apart lap after lap. Mistakes are costly, opportunities are rare, and when they come, you have to take them. Since opening in 1953 as the dirt-covered Strawberry Hill Speedway, Richmond has transformed into one of NASCAR's most distinctive venues. Through decades of change, one thing has remained the same. Track has a way of revealing who can manage tires, control the pace, and deliver when the pressure is at its highest. Tonight, under the lights, another chapter ready to be ridden. 150 laps, one demanding oval. One driver will leave with the trophy. The ZeroX Strategy Series Redmon's 150 starts now on Track Limits Network. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the virtual Richmond Raceway Round 1, Race 1 of the playoffs here in the ZeroX Strategy Series. Getting ready to get this one underway. Of course, it is the Redmon's Lawn Care and Outdoor Services 150. I'll be all right, folks. Presented by the ZeroX Strategy Series. Going to be a fun one here tonight, again, as the playoffs get underway. Again, live coverage here at Track Limits Network for all the action here tonight. Let's take a look at the race details before we get too deep into things. 150 laps the distance, 65% fuel on board. 2 sets of tires available over the wall, no fast repairs, and 1 attempt at a green-white checkered finish. Weather-wise, nice and cool, great night for racing, 68-degree ambient temperature, little humid though, 95%, cloudy skies, little breeze, 9 mile per hour. Track temperature, that's the important one, 73 degrees Fahrenheit. Again, nice and cool, should provide a lot of grip once those tires warm up. Opening laps could be a little tricky. We'll have to keep an eye on that, and that temperature likely to come down a little bit as we get deeper into the nighttime hours. Practice just about wrapped up here. Just 2 minutes or so left in the session. The top time so far, the number 3, Brandon Moore, 21-191. Ray Hanneman, second quick. Wesley Jeanette, third. Cornette, Deep Esquali, fourth and fifth. Again, about a minute and a half left in this session before we get the black and red flags to drop. We'll get into our qualifying attempts here. 5 minutes, 2 laps, whatever expires first. Set the field for tonight. Schedule-wise, of course, Richmond here tonight to kick off the playoffs, then on to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Pocono Raceway on the 21st. The 28th will go to Chicagoland. That one should be fun. August 4th, Talladega Super Speedway for 75 laps. That one likely to go to a tape delay. I'm traveling for business that week, so unable to cover the action live. And then we'll close out the season at The Rock. 150 laps around Rockingham to set the championship. That's going to be a fun one. Make sure you're here for that one. $15 seconds and we'll call it a session. Brandon Moore looks like he'll finish this one top of the board. Ray Hanneman, so we watch him drive his number 12 machine. Now Jackson West in the number 76, new colors on the number 76. Very colorful number 76 of Jackson West. That's it for the session. Practice in the books. And Brandon Moore, your top time, 21.19 seconds. Now to qualifying. Looks like it'll be Jason Aranchak to roll first, or at least jump in the race car first. There he rolls off. So the 84 on the stopwatch, exiting turn 2 down the backstretch here at Richmond Raceway, the action track. Big gear change there. Let's see if we can look at that. 4th gear, 5th gear. And a 4th gear change into turn 1. Fast time 21.857 for Jason Aranchak. He'll be the first time to lock in aboard. And Brandon Moore backing up his fast time in qualifying, a 21.547. He's still on the clock here. Lap 2 could be quicker. Lap complete. Does he improve? He does, but not enough as Wesley Jeanette goes P1, 21.353. Out of the 22 with Jason Blaney. Ran a 680 his first lap, sits 6th on the timing and scoring. Oh, a little loose across start finish. I don't know if that lap's going to count or not. Blaney with a 680. That's it. He got real loose on the exit of turn number 4. Is now Tommy Pulte on the speedway, and he pounds the outside wall. Lap 2 going to go to waste for the 26. Brenton Watts, 13th quick so far, 21.961 out of turn number 4. Puts the power down. Does he improve? He does. 21.729, 9th quick for the 21. Matt Sisler now on the track. This might be a waste lap. Real loose off turn 4 coming to green. Might want to just back out of her now. Take it easy this first lap. And that's exactly what he's going to do. Try and set it up here to get all of that pace here on his second lap. Off turn 4, a little cleaner this time. Cross the line. 16th, even with that terrible exit coming to green. Should see an improvement here for Sisler when he comes back across the line. Where does he land? 4th quick, 21.480 seconds for Matt Sisler. Had to think on his feet out there. Did a good job of it. Chris Pieria now, 22nd quick, 23.440, and that'll do it for Chris. Now to Austin Walton, minute and a half left in the session. Oh, and he loses it down the backstretch. Locks it up. Does he keep it out of the wall? No. Talked about that track temp being cool here tonight. Only get 2 laps in qualifying. He's going to give it another go here. Now, these guys downshift in the car. You're basically dragging the rear tires on corner entry. Got to be careful with that. If somebody does that a little too early, grabs the gear sooner than they had planned, you run into that wheel hop type situation. The back end of the car can come around considerably, especially when paired with the brakes. Walton now will finish across start finish. Does he get a time? He does. 17th, 21.804 for Austin Walton. And that might do it for us here. Yeah, the session about to wrap up, and that's it. Wesley Jeanette, your fast time here in qualifying from Richmond Raceway. Tom Janikowski in the chat. We got Dustin Rogerson says, thanks, Steve, you the man. I don't know what you're saying thanks for, but I'm happy to help where I can. Kerwin Marshall says, let's go. Redmond's Lawn Care 150. Kylie Goldsmith cheering on Kerwin Marshall as well. And OG Holiday. Good luck, gents. Well, it's about that time. It's for our starting grid on the pole position with a lap time of 21.353 seconds. From Fueled Up Motorsports, the 74 of Wesley Jeanette, and to his outside, the 3 of Brandon Moore, 31 thousandths shy of the pole position. In row number 2, from ZeroX Sim Racing, it's Chris Cornett. Matt Sisler will start in the 4th spot. Row 3, John Tiller and Briley Hassard. Row 4, it's Scott Stockel and Johnny DePasquale. Row 5, Nick Gardner and Jason Blaney. Starting in the 11th spot will be Brenton Watts. 12th goes to Jackson West. 13th starter, it's Nathan Line. 14th belongs to Ken Lowry. 15th is Jason Aranchak. Brett Summers, 16th. 17th starter, it's Austin Walton. Trouble in qualifying, still got a lap in. Tommy Pulte will start 18th. Juan Linares, 19th. 20th starter, it's Tony Smith. Michael Thorne, 21st. David Kennard will roll off from the 22nd position. 23rd, Chris Pieria. 24th, deep in the field for Ray Hanneman. He'll roll 24th. Derek Buckaloo, 25th. Clint Hayfield will be 26th. And shotgun dead last from Trash House Racing. The 4 of Kerwin Marshall did not take a time in qualifying. We'll see what kind of luck he can have here tonight. That's your starting grid for the Redmond's Lawn Care 150. About ready to get underway. Season 3, race 10, but playoff race number 1. Matt Sisler says he's got the winner's EOL from MIS, but I'm really pleased with that speed. It's good that they go out and qualify. A lot of times they'll throw in the EOL and they won't let you qualify. I'm really happy to see that this league lets you give it a shot, at least for that pit position, but kind of gauge your speed against the rest of the field. Waiting for everybody to get gridded up here. I think we're just waiting on Derek Buckaloo to pull up, and I think he's going to start from pit lane, if at all. We'll see if the 81 rolls off. But the rest of the field off pit lane behind the iRacing pace car. 1 lap of 2 before we get underway. As you see Matt Sisler pulling top of the banking there to drop to the tail end of the field. Race details in case you missed it. 150 laps the distance here tonight. 65% fuel on board. Not sure what that translates to fuel window. Dustin, if you know it, let us know in the chat. 2 sets of tires over the wall, no fast repair, and 1 attempt at a green-white checkered finish if we need it. Weather-wise, not much changed as far as the atmosphere is concerned, but that track temp, as we said, that's the important one. It's come down a touch, now 70 degrees. We'll keep further eye on that as the race progresses to see if that drops even further. May just level out right about 68. Well, in some cases, friction generates heat, so maybe it'll come up, but we'll keep our eyes on that one for sure. So field down the back straightaway here. I think we're getting ready to go green. Wesley Jeanette, Brandon Moore, 2 Field Up Motorsports teammates on the front row. Chris Cornett, Briley Hassard, John Tiller, Johnny DePasquale, 5th and 6th. As we're set to get underway here from the action track, Richmond Raceway.
Green flag.
Jeanette with the lead down into 1. Chris Cornett trying to take advantage of Brandon Moore's outside starting position. Everybody off. Turn number 2, and we got trouble already. Somebody's around. I think it's the 12 of Ray Hanneman. Didn't take long, just a couple of corners for the 12 of Ray Hanneman to get caught out in a mess. On corner exit, first caution of the night. We haven't gotten a half lap in. Not what the 12 wanted. It looks like he might be okay damage-wise. Little bit of left front, but not terrible. Well, let's take a look at it. Looks like some contact from Chris Pieria in the 13. Kerwin Marshall will get into the back of Pieria, send him around, and a pretty significant impact there to the driver's door of Hanneman's machine. So, first caution quickly out here at Richmond Raceway involving a potential contender here tonight, Raymond Hanneman. Starting deep in the field here tonight. A couple more chatters in the stream chat. Snacktash says, let's go, Ray. Got Zachary Redmon, 930. I'm assuming that is Zachary Redmon from Redmond's Lawn Care. Says gas pedals on the right, Kerwin. So lights are on the pace car. We're half a lap away from getting back underway here at Richmond. We've barely gotten underway, only a couple of corners before the caution came out. Contacted the back of the pack. Chris Pieria and Ray Hanneman. Looks like everyone's going to stay in the race after that. Nothing too serious, but makes it a little more difficult. Green flag back in the air. Wesley Jeanette, Chris Cornett now 1 and 2. Riley Hassard, Jason Blaney side-by-side for position. Blaney in the blue, number 22 on the bottom. He's got Hassard clear off turn number 2. Oh, in trouble behind. Jason Aranchak is around. Straightens it out, though. I think we're going to stay green here. Matt Sisler working his way back through up to the 17th position. Ranchak trying to find his footing again after contact with another driver. Now gets into the wall again. So does somebody else behind him. I didn't catch who that was. I think it was Tony Smith in the 43, and he's got damage. That car doesn't want to turn. Oh, and Chris Pieria gets into him again. I don't know what's going on here with the 13 if he didn't see him up top of the racetrack. Both of those cars seemingly off the pace. Back out front, though, Wesley Jeanette with a 3/4 second lead over Chris Cornett. Brandon Moore runs third. Then it's John Tiller and Jason Blaney. Johnny DePasquale getting a small piece of the wall on corner exit. Hassard and Scott Stockel. Stockel in the black number 5. Hassard running 7th. Checking on Ray Hanneman here after his first lap incident. Hasn't seemed to lost too much pace here. Last lap at 21.78 to the leader's 21.56. Clean air does make a difference even at this short track at Richmond. You see Hanneman there in the tire tracks of Matt Sisler. Sisler's lap time about a 21.67 the last time. Hanneman a tick faster with a 66. So on pace with the drivers he's racing around, and Sisler, don't forget, last year's champion, so he's certainly no slouch. Jackson West in the battle with Brenton Watts. West on the bottom, and then colorful number 76. Wesley Jeanette just checking out from Chris Cornett. 1.4 seconds now. Nathan Lyon in a new paint scheme this week, running in front of Ken Lowry. This for 10th and 11th. Walton took a peek to the inside on Brenton Watts. Nothing doing for the 9. Again, Walton started back in the 17th position. He's up a few spots now from the drop of the green flag. Already 18 laps complete here at Richmond Raceway. Hanneman looks to the bottom on the 9. Brake rotors starting to get a little hot here with the front brakes in these cars. Let's go on board here with Ray Hanneman and see what it looks like from his perspective. This is the left front brake assembly on the number 12, and there it is. The heat already getting very warm on those brakes. They get cherry red. Really shows itself here under the lights at Richmond Raceway. And Hanneman in some traffic. Let's go on board with Wesley Jeanette and see what his look like. Just as hot as we suspected. Top 10 relatively calm right now, exception of maybe Nathan Lyon as he's working with the 5 of Scott Stockel. Not sure if Scott was taking it away or if Nathan's taking it away, but either way, the battle continues. Lyon takes a peek to the inside. Stockel way up the racetrack, a couple of grooves up the track. Lyon has the position off turn number 2. Not quite clear, but he is now. He's got the spots. Move Nathan Lyon to 9th. Ray Hanneman, Jackson West still battling side by side. I just got to wonder if there was any residual damage to the left front on that 12 machine. He did get some contact in the door from, I think it was Kerwin Marshall at the end of that accident. West up the racetrack, opens the door there, 3 wide there off turn number 4. Sisler gets through. It looks like he'll pick up a couple of spots here. Gets by Brenton Watts and Jackson West, so moves Sisler up to 14th. Hanneman to 13th, just up ahead. Stockel running 10th. Lyon picking up another position now, moving forward into the 8th position. Stockel's going to try and take one from Gardner too. So Nick Gardner's lost a spot, about to lose another here in the last couple of laps. We got Mark Truxell in the chat. Mark from the PSRA Truck Series says, great broadcast, Steve. Good racing. Mark, thanks for checking in, man. Good to hear from you. But man, out front, Jeanette just continues to go onto a tear. 2.4, almost 2.5 seconds up on Chris Cornett as he puts Chris Pieria a lap down. Chris has had a tough go of it here tonight. Definitely think there may be some damage on that number 13. Jeanette has 4 cars a lap down. Tony Smith, Michael Thorne, Chris Pieria, and David Kennard. Derek Buckaloo did not take the green flag here tonight. Not much changed here in the way of positions upside the top 10. Cornett still running second, Moore third. John Tiller, Jason Blaney, the balance in the top 5. Di Pasquale also still in the 6th spot. Riley Hassard 7th, Nathan Line, Ken Lowry, Nick Gardner, the balance of the top 10. Lowry making some moves forward though, trying to take the spot from Gardner. Gardner's lost a few. He's losing another. He might lose another to Austin Walton here as Walton's recovered well from his poor qualifying effort. Austin's up 6 spots. To go back again and check on Ray Hanneman, he's up to 12th. Started in the 24th position here tonight, was involved in a spin off of turn number 2 on the opening lap. Dustin Rogerson in the chat says Derek Buckaloo is actually race control. He joined by mistake. Derek, you got to get on that, buddy. Join as a spectator. You can still admin. Happens all the time, though. He's not the only one to do it. Some pretty good clean racing here from the drop of the green flag with one minor exception with contact at lap 1. Since then, now the tire temperatures are up. The tire have some heat in it. These guys have been getting around here pretty well. Lap time's already starting to fall off, though. Almost a full second of fall off. 37 laps in here at Richmond. At least that's for Wesley Jeanette. His fastest lap of the night, 21:37. His last lap, a 22:27. Wesley still running a blistering pace as P2. Chris Cornett able to match it the last time by. Brandon Moore awfully close as well, only a couple of hundredths shy of those top 2 positions. Derek Buckaloo says, I think I just got 4X parked on pit road somehow. So with Jeanette now starting to get deeper into some lap traffic. 7. Brett Summers up the racetrack. Next on the list will be Michael Thorne. Thorne already 1 lap down. This would make it 2. Juan Linares, Kerwin Marshall trying to stay on the lead lap. They'd love to see the caution come out right about now. Michael Thorne, though, in a tricky position here. Oh, and there's almost contact between Linares and the race leader. Was just trying to say it there, and Thorne makes some contact. He hangs onto him, but he gets hit again by Linares, and this is happening all in front of the leaders, and Wesley Jeanette is in it.
Quickly tell me about your
caution comes out. We were just going to say how tricky it is not only to get through lap traffic, but how tough it can be to get lapped. You got to be predictable, let those leaders come through. I know you're trying to stay on the lead lap. Michael Thorne's case, he was already down 1. Just be predictable, folks. That's the name of the game. Unfortunately, Wesley Jeanette getting caught out in that. He's fallen back to 3rd as he was able to drive away from the incident. I think he'll come back up to 2nd. Or will he go around Cornett for the lead? This is interesting. Usually, if you're part of the caution, you don't get your spot back, but let's see what happens here. Maybe he's trying to go show his displeasure. Well, he gets caught back up to the pace car, so caution flew before he lost any spots. And Cornette's going to come down and pit. I'm surprised Jeanette stayed out. Might have missed pit road being open there. That's going to be a big issue for the 74. Man, it seemed like pit road opened awfully quickly. We'll back this up a little further and we'll watch it again. See Thorne and Marshall come together. Linares gets in a Thorne again, sends him back into the path of the race leader, and there you have it. That's a pretty big hit there for Wesley Jeanette. Kerwin Marshall with the black flag. Not sure if that was due to the incident that put us under this second caution. We'll back this up a little further here, and you guys be the judge. Kerwin is coming up the racetrack just a touch. Michael Thorne to the outside. Yeah, Kerwin just keeps coming. Contact is made, gets Michael Thorne crossed up here. I think Mike would have had it saved. And Juan Linares just can't get out of the back bumper. And a very interesting decision for Wesley Jeanette to stay out onto the track. Not to mention the tire damage he may have sustained just in sliding around, but also the contact. This could be a tricky restart for everybody behind the 74. As fast as Wesley's been, maybe he'll be okay. I don't know. We'll see. Pace car heads to pit road.
Green flag.
Opposite turn of fortune for Ray Hernandez. We got trouble as Jason Blaney goes around.
Make sure your lap one time real quick.
This might be an opportunity for Wesley to try and come down and pit. So much like the opening lap, trouble, I think it was out of turn number 2. Jason Blaney ends up facing the wrong direction. We'll get a look at it here in a moment. On the restart here, down into turn 1, and he just loses it. Something you don't see every day. The 20 gets into the back and finishes the spin, so a little bit of contact after the 22 starts to slide. Blaney did drive it in pretty deep on the bottom, a real shallow entry for the 22. Looks like he'll, for the most part, get away with this one. Jeanette stays out on the track still, so maybe he felt what he needed to feel in those first couple of corners to be confident in the race car the rest of the way. We'll fix it as needed. So pace car lights are out on the one to go here. Green flag racing the next time by. As we mentioned, Ray Hanneman started deep in the field in 24th. Worked his way up about mid-pack before this most recent caution. Made a pit stop during the second yellow flag that we had, and it was a rather lengthy one at 23 seconds plus, but still was able to restart on the front row alongside a wounded teammate in Wesley Jeanette. Pace car's in, let's try it again.
Ready, green flag.
Jeanette gets away. Now Chris Cornett will take advantage of Ray Hanneman, picks up the second spot, and the race lead headed down into turn 3. I guess Jeanette doesn't have the pace that he thought he did. He'll lose second as well. New leader off turn 4, it's Chris Cornett. Ray Hanneman will take second from Jeanette. Now next on the back bumper, it's Clint Hayveld. Jeanette's just going to have to survive here until another opportunity presents itself to pit. Slow car just up ahead. Canter to the bottom of the racetrack. Very slow in traffic. Gets to the bottom, and that jacks everybody up in the field. Something amiss on the 96 of David Kennard. He's got to come to pit road. Something not right with that car.
There will be a caution.
And caution is out again. We're not sure why. I think Austin Walton may be involved. Yes, indeedy. Looks like Jason Ranchak might have been caught up in that as well. Let's take a look. So heading down into turn number 3, Brenton Watts really drives into the back of a Ranchak there, shoots him up the racetrack and then into the 9 just barely. Brenton Watts gets into the back of a Ranchak a couple more times and just turns him around. Something going on there. At full speed, he just sends it into turn number 3. Gets into the back of Jason, which clips the 9. Then gets him again. Now turns him. Straightens him up. Drives away from the scene. Ranchak not so lucky. Want to make mention, too, David Kennard ending up with the black flag here. I don't know if it was for a minimum speed issue or what have you, but either way, penalty flag shown for the number 96. It's Walton and Ranchak on pit lane. Wesley Jeanette also in that number 1 pit stall trying to get some repairs made to that number 74 machine. Spent about 26 seconds there working on it. My guess is it's going to need more. Kerwin Marshall in the chat says, I'm so bad here. Well, put the phone down, Kerwin. No texting and driving. So on the one to go here at Richmond, trying to get another long green flag run in. I think the first long run we had was about 37 laps. But cautions breed cautions. Got a couple right in a row. Pace car will head to pit lane. Cornette, Hanneman, front row. We'll see if Cornette can hold off the 12.
Green flag.
Cornette waited a little bit there. Got a shove from the 3 of Brandon Moore. Shoots him out in front of the 12 of Ray Hanneman. Now Hanneman's got to worry about his teammate and Brandon Moore. Moore started in the second spot here tonight, so you know he's got a fast race car. He's usually a long-run driver in a lot of these places. Starting this one off with some good track position. Likely to be a threat later on tonight. So Cornette checking out, almost a full second back to the 27 of Nick Gardner. Brandon Moore slots back to third, but Ray Hanneman free-falling through the field now, back to the 7th position. I'm not sure if this is damage-related or if this is just strategic out of the 12. We talked about saving tires in the open here tonight. Be there for the end of the long run. You let these guys go now, they may just come right back to you later on. But Hanneman now in the fence off turn number 2. That's a pretty significant impact for the 12. And he's getting mugged here as the 38 goes to the bottom. Brenton Watts is going to do the same. Hanneman restarted on the outside front row. He's fallen back to 10th since the drop of the green flag. Hanneman's car just not cooperating here. And he gets the fence again. Same spot. The handling definitely gone away on the 12 of Ray Hanneman as he continues to shed positions. It's to 12th. It's about to be 13th. Jackson West can get clear on the bottom. Jackson drives it in deep, kind of uses Briley Hassard as a pick. So Hanneman now back to the 13th position. He's down further than he was prior to that second caution of the night. Now teammate Wesley Jeanette right there. Now if the 74 is able to make a pass, that's going to tell you all you need to know. Gets into the back of the 12 there. Didn't mean to do it, certainly. They're teammates. Back out front, though, the lead starting to dwindle a bit as Nick Gardner is starting to run down Chris Cornette. It's less than half a second, at least on the entry to turn 1. Cornette just a tick faster than Gardner the last time by, only a few hundredths of a second, and they're going to start to run down some lap traffic again as I think David Kennard just a little ways up the racetrack. About 5 laps shy of halfway. Lap traffic has come into play for the leaders at least once here tonight. Kennard goes to the bottom of the racetrack. He is still well off the pace. I'm not sure what's wrong there with an ID6, but he just can't get the pace going. Crawling speed down on the apron of the racetrack. And Kennard with another black flag. And he'll come back to pit lane. So Cornette finding a little bit more pace here at the front of the field as he starts to stretch it back out over the 27 of Nick Gardner. And Matt Sisler, who had to drop to the tail of the field due to his win at Michigan, up to third as the caution comes back out. And Jackson West involved in this. Looks like Ray Hanneman in it as well. He's got more damage now on the right front, and that right front brake rotor assembly is hot. That means he had a lot of front brake dialed into that machine, so something not quite right on the 12. Try and go back and see what just happened here to put us under our 5th caution of the night. Doesn't tell the story right there. Jackson West was around, and then Hanneman just plows into him. Pretty hard impact for both drivers. I'm going to back this up. We're going to try and get a look what happened here to the 76. It happened well before Hanneman got there. So here it is from the blimp. Jackson just pulls down. Oh, I don't know if he had a steering wheel fail. I think Jackson had a hardware failure because it just went left down the straightaway. And I think after he realized it, he was trying to go left again to get it off the racetrack. Unfortunately for Hanneman. I don't know if Hanneman was trying to come to pit lane. We'll go real time on board with the 12. Yeah, really don't know. So Ray Hanneman already in the chat says, I thought he was going to stay middle. And Ray, I don't know if you heard my interpretation. It kind of looked like Jackson had a steering wheel fail on the exit of turn 2. Once he realized he was coming back up into 3, I think he was just trying to make that hard left out of the racing groove. By the time you got there, it was game over. So 5th caution of the night here in the Redmond's Lawn Care 150. 75 laps in, just past halfway here at Richmond. Chris Cornett continues to lead. We've had 5 cautions for 19 laps and only 2 lead changes at the finish line here tonight. Definitely a tough night for Ray Hanneman. Had to start at the back. Lap 1, turn 2. He's around with some damage. Has to fight his way back up. He got about to, I think, 12th before the next caution came out. Restarted on the front row, and it all went south after that. So ready for the restart. It'll be Cornett and Gardner on the front row. Then Matt Sisler, Brandon Moore, Johnny DePasquale, John Tiller, your top 6, and Jason Blaney back in contention in the 7th position.
Green flag.
Green flag back in the air. Cornett hard on the gas. So Jackson West in the chat says, Ray, I'm so sorry, man. TV just turned off and I couldn't see a thing. Meanwhile, battle for second. Matt Sisler, Nick Gardner side by side. Sisler finding his rhythm here, and he's almost clear. Can't get the power down out of 2. Gardner's going to battle back. Sisler now clear for second, looking to run down the 88 of Chris Cornett. Sisler started deep in the field but had pace. As we put lap 80 up on the board, we're going to step aside for a track limit side-by-side break. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series, Kyle Steffens UMP Modified and Silver Crown Driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws Late Model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook.
Caution, caution. All right, bud, why don't you give me status under car there?
Need insurance coverage that's built for speed? Frank Yea's office in South Charleston has your back. Whether you're blazing down the highway, protecting the home you've built, or setting up a legacy for your family, we've got the coverage you need. Auto, home, life, fast, simple, and made for you. Scan the QR code on your screen now to explore all our services and start a free quote today. Lock it in, save it for later, or call us at 304-744-7700 to get started.
Back at Richmond Raceway, working caution number 6. You saw it during the side-by-side. Brenton Watts contact with the 7. The 7 coming up the racetrack. That was Brett Summers. Brenton Watts doing a damn good job hanging on to that race car. I'll just say it. Let's go back and watch it here in the big screen. The 7, Summers, bottom of the racetrack, gets into the left rear of the 21. Watts just comes around and just dirt tracking the heck out of that thing. Straightens it back up. But the closing rate for the car is behind too much for iRacing. iRacing throws the caution. So field back on the 1 to go as we're set for another restart. Front row will be Chris Cornett, Nick Gardner. We know Gardner's got pace, but it looks like Cornett's going to opt for the top lane here on the restart.
Green, green, green.
Better jump for Chris Cornett this time. Previous restart, he was on the bottom of the racing groove there, the bottom lane. Very quickly, he jumped to the top of the racetrack before his entry into turn number 1. So, all things being equal, I think Chris Cornett just decided, you know, I might as well just start up here. I don't have to scrub speed. It's worked out for him, and now Jason Blaney gets to the 2nd spot, takes it away from Nick Gardner. We'll see if Blaney can do anything with Cornett here. One more spot to go for the 22. Remember, Blaney was Spun around backwards at one point during this race. Tiny bit of contact to the right rear of the race car, but it seems to be pretty clean and green now. And he's running down Cornette. Just a couple of tenths between these two. A car length, maybe even less now through turns 1 and 2. Yeah, Blaney's right there, just waiting for an opportunity. Blaney about a half-tenth quicker that last lap than Chris Cornette. Chris drives away, though, down the backstretch. Backing up his entries a little bit, drives a little deeper into turn 3. Blaney able to close up on the exit of turn 4. Oh, Blaney real loose off turn number 4. He'll lose a little ground off of that and will heat up that right rear tire. That problem only going to get worse unless Blaney decides to take care of it a little bit here in the next handful of laps. So Cornette now 4.5, 5 tenths up on the 22. Cornette's had a fast car all night long, and he's showing it even more now as the 22 of Jason Blaney. Certainly a driver we thought would be able to run down the 88, potentially take that lead away. A very small mistake out of the 22. Rear end of the car kind of started to come around. Was able to hang on to it, but now he's lost ground. It was a half car length just a couple of laps ago. Now it's 3/4 of a second. What a run for Wesley Jeanette. Remember, he was lightning fast at the outset of this race, put it on pole position, but you see by the damage on the nose of that machine, certainly not 100%, but still running inside the top 10 in the 8th position. Johnny DePasquale will take the 3rd spot from Nick Gardner. So we are 2/3 distance here at Richmond Raceway. First playoff race of Season 3. Matt Sisler running in the 10th position. Brett Summers in the 11th spot. Tommy Pulte in the 13th position, in behind Nathan Line. Ken Lowry, Juan Linares, the top 15. Pulte makes a move here to the inside, drives it way deep into 3, washes up the racetrack, almost some contact with the 38. Nathan will carry the run out of the corner, and that's going to open the door for Ken Lowry as well. Once again, brake rotors aglow on these race cars. Let's take a look at Tommy's. Oh yeah, they're getting hotter. Imagine searing a steak on that thing. Pulte back to 15th as Linares gets through on the bottom. Scott Stockel's going to try and do the same. So handling going away on the Pulte machine as well. Back out front, about a second advantage over Jason Blaney. Chris Cornett is driving away. Derek Buckaloo says, I swear I can hear the Freebird solo in the background right now. I love the Bud 8 colors on that number 88 machine, especially here at Richmond. Kerwin Marshall running in the 18th position. Still on the lead lap. Was close to going down a lap in that first run with Wesley Jeanette just running blistering pace. Kerwin trying to hold off Briley Hassard for this position. Been a tough night for the 13 at Chris Pieria. Been involved in a couple of incidents. He's definitely not on the pace up the racetrack. He's been in the fence a bunch of times. Still out there logging laps, though. Got to give him credit for sticking with it. Kerwin Marshall going to lose his spot to Hassard here. Now Brenton Watts looking to strike. Kerwin said it in the chat. He's not real good at this place. Can't figure it out. Best way to do it is keep logging laps. That's what he's doing. Speaking of logging laps, 40 laps to go for Chris Cornett. Maybe one more pit stop before it's all said and done. 1.3 seconds back to the 22 of Jason Blaney. Johnny DePasquale runs third. Brandon Moore fourth. Nick Gardner to fifth. Big mover on the night so far, though. 45 of Clinton Hayville, and he's continuing to move as he makes a run here to the outside of Nick Gardner for the fifth spot. He's up 21 positions. He started dead last. Ooh, a little wiggle off of turn number 2 for the 45. Quickly resets to get ready for turn 3. I think he overdrove it there as Gardner's going to jump back to the bottom. Back out front, though, Cornett losing some pace. Last lap, about 3 full tenths slower than second place Jason Blaney. Again, we don't know if that's him just backing out of it a little bit, saving some tire, or if those tires are starting to fall off. Cornett has not been to pit road since about lap 43. Blaney, 5 laps later, was lap 48. But Blaney didn't take tires on that stop, so I'm not sure if he's got an advantage at this point. Might have just been a mistake out of Cornett as he's picked the pace back up a little bit faster than Blaney. Not by much, but faster still. Full second advantage for Chris Cornett. Taking a look at the pit strategy, that first run, they went about 43 laps. Hayfield went 73, then 44. Cornette has now gone 74 laps since his last pit stop. Again, there's a lot of cautions breaking that fuel mileage up, so that's certainly extending things for him. Blaney kind of in the same boat. Brandon Moore, Johnny DePasquale, same thing, but don't sleep on the 45 of Hayfield. He's breaking this one up nicely. First pit stop likely didn't take tires. I would assume he's still got a set lane over pit wall. Derek Buckaloo in the chat letting us know 75-ish lap pit window. So we will see some stops here, albeit whether they're green flag or yellow flag remains to be seen. That really could be the difference maker. Don't beat yourself. That's what you got to be telling Chris Cornette here when it comes time. If we get to pit stops here under green flag conditions, man, Cornette really starting to check back out, though. Almost 2 seconds over Blaney, but Blaney's coming to pit lane. So trying the undercut, trying to break it up here, get a little bit of more pace out of some new tires, maybe cut into that track position that Chris Cornette has, but this should drag the 88 down pit lane the next time by. It's a lot of fall off. Cornette's last lap at 22:47, almost a full second full second slower than his best lap of the night. Blaney right side tires in the air. Drops the jack. Fuel going in, and it's a 2-tire stop for Jason Blaney. He'll head on out. Little strategy here at Richmond. Cornette not able to get down to pit lane, or is he? He stays out on the racetrack. 25 laps to go for Chris Cornette. When will he make that trip to pit lane? And will he take 2 or 4?
Caution.
And the caution comes out.
Yeah, did my radio sound bad out there?
And Jason Blaney is in it. So the strategy going out the window for the 22 of Blaney here as he was a lap down and then had a problem out on the racetrack in the middle of turns 1 and 2. Was it the right sides only loosening up the car, or did he have help? Let's take a look. Drove it in deep alongside Wesley Jeanette, teammate, and it get a little crossed up bottom of the racetrack. Tank slaps it a bit. Doesn't get into the 74, but slides it up the racetrack, keeps it off the wall. Oh, and the 7 of Summers is going to come in and take out the left front. So Chris Cornette on pit lane. Scheduled stop, but under yellow flag conditions, no pressure. Likely to put on 4 tires here. Right side's in the air. There it is, 4 tires and Sunoco Racing fuel to get him to the end of this race. Cornette down and away. He will leave pit lane the same way he arrived, with the race lead. It just shows you how treacherous this place is here tonight. That is the second time this evening we've seen Jason Blaney lose it unassisted. It's not something you see every day out of the driver of that number 22 machine. So Blaney might get the wave around here, given the circumstances where he is on the racetrack. So Cornette making his final pit stop here, 4 tires and fuel. Matt Sisler making his final stop. It appears it was only gas. 8.9 seconds gets Sisler a bunch of track position here. This may set us up here for about a 20-lap run to the finish, so no more fuel concerns. So the front row will be Chris Cornette taking the top lane, Matt Sisler on the bottom with the old tires, and it's Clint Hayfield and Brandon Moore. Keep an eye on that 45. He's been fast all night.
Green flag.
Cornette jumps out to a big lead over now Clint Hayfield, who's up to that second spot, took full advantage of those fresh tires over Sisler, and Hayfield's in the wall. Did he straighten it out? I think he kept it off the fence, but he slides all the way back to 14th.
Caution's out.
And we got trouble. Nick Gardner now in the fence, so yellow flag for the 8th time. Well, let's try to get a look what happened to Hayfield here on this restart. Keep an eye on the 45. Again, he'll jump the 31 here. Bad start for Matt Sisler. May have spun the tires again. He's out there on a fuel-only stop. So keep an eye on the 45. Off turn number 2. And it just comes right around on him. Quick to lock it down. Maybe some contact from Brandon Moore after the spin. Great job to save it, but now let's see what happened to Nick Gardner right after. This is out of turn 4. And he just snaps around loose, too. Clips Briley Hassard. Hassard to go for a ride. Oh, Johnny DePasquale with some impact as well. Let's take a better look at this. Hassard in the fence as he's coming back down the track. Still don't know what happened to Johnny D. Oh, got run in the back by Kennard. Johnny saw what was happening with Hassard, checked up real hard, and Kennard didn't catch it. Lots of things happening on just one lap after the restart here at Richmond. So Matt Sisler is going to get another opportunity to restart here on the front row. Again, you got to pay close attention here to that 31 machine. The final pit stop he made to get fuel to the end of the race leaves him with old tires compared to everybody else. It really hurt him on the last restart as he may have spun the tires or might have been a little too passive on the restart in fear of spinning the tires. Nevertheless, Cornette now is going to opt for the low lane on the restart. He's going to put the 31 up top. Hopefully he can get some traction. That's going to be a tough spot for Sisler as we're getting ready to get back underway. Row 2 will be Austin Walton and John Tiller, then Ken Lowry, Brandon Moore, Wesley Jeanette, Tommy Pulte, Brett Summers, Juan Linares, the top 10 as we're set for the restart. It'll be lap 136 of 150. Pace cars in.
Green flag.
Better restart for Matt Sisler, but Austin Walton's going to chew him up here on the exit of 2. Oh, we got cars in the wall. Summers goes around.
Caution. Give me your temps there, bud.
And Clint Hayfield in this one as well, so putting him in the back, he gets caught out in it. Summers trying to get righted, but caution number 9 on the night. Again, cautions breed cautions. This is kind of what we expected to see with this colder temperature here tonight. Tire temps are low, tire pressures are low, handling is low. Let's take a look. Watch the 7. There are 3 wide behind him with Linares up top, Hayfield in the middle. There's contact. There's 49 was to the right side of the 7 and the chain reaction after that. So Cornette needing to make another decision here, what lane to take on the restart. Matt Sisler's got to be kind of loving this right now because under caution, obviously you can't lose any positions unless you drop below pace car speed. Sisler's out there with older tires. So under green flag conditions, he's at a severe disadvantage. Right now it's not hurting him in the least and the laps continue to wind down. We're going to be less than 10 laps to go when we get the restart here. So Sisler's in position to pick up some points here tonight. I don't think he's got the pace to challenge Cornette for the race win, just given the tire difference. Austin Walton there looking to pounce. He's got fresh rubber underneath. So does Brandon Moore, John Tiller. Pretty much everybody all the way down to Tommy Pulte, who may have taken just right sides. He sits in the 8th position. Nathan Line with 4 tires, and then Jason Blaney back up into the top 10. Blaney's still on the tires that he took at lap 123, and it was another right side tire change. May have just been damage repair, not sure. And he didn't have a whole lot, I couldn't tell. So now Cornette's going to take the top. That's where Sisler had his problems, was that low lane on the second to last restart. Turn number 2, half a lap away from the restart here at Richmond Raceway. Will this be our last caution, our last restart of the night? We've had 9 of them here, and that's after we've had a couple of long green flag runs. So they're just really coming in bunches here tonight. Pace car heads to pit lane.
Green flag.
Brett Summers real low, real slow on the bottom of the racetrack. Oh, and Wesley Jeanette's going to go around.
Caution, caution. Do you need anything to drink or anything like that?
So for the 10th time tonight, yellow flag flies. Wesley Jeanette, a pole sitter here tonight. Dominant early. Mixed up in a crash with some lap traffic. He's been battling a damaged race car all night long. This time comes around just a lap after the restart again. So let's take a look. What happened to the 74 just a moment ago. This is off turn number 4. You see him up the racetrack, and again, just getting on the power there. It comes around. And gets run in the back by Nathan Line, another teammate. Hard to miss him out there. There's so many Fueled Up Motorsports guys in this series. Wasn't much of an incident, but enough for the yellow flag. I know we said it the last caution, but Matt Sisler's got to be loving this. Brandon Moore was coming, beating on the back door. Austin Walton was doing the same. And Sisler's going to maintain that second spot here, and we're still behind the pace car, lights ablaze. So this is going to set us up for a very short run to the finish. Again, we do have one opportunity at a green-white checkered finish if necessary. I know it's been a while since we've mentioned it, but there is one attempt available on the table tonight if it comes to it. And right now, the way it's going, there's a big chance we're going to see that here tonight. So maybe some extra laps to contend with. Certainly not enough to be worried about fuel. And again, only one attempt. Shouldn't make too much of a difference. So looking for the one to go signal here, lap 146. There it is. Field doubled up, ready to go here in turn 3. The pace car is about to head to pit lane.
Green flag, green flag.
Good jump for Austin Walton. We'll go to the outside of Matt Sisler for a second. Brandon Moore going to go to the bottom. They're 3 wide into turn 1. Sisler, the meat and the sandwich. He'll get clear of the 9 of Walton off turn number 2, but there's contact now, and Sisler will go around. Brandon Moore gets turned.
The driver there, always.
So the caution comes out again, and we're going to go to overtime. So a little bit of contact there from Sisler. Sisler gets run into by Walton, turns him up the racetrack. Wreck behind him, too, as Kerwin Marshall and Nick Gardner come together. Yeah, Walton just got crossed up, got into the back bumper, and wasn't square on the 31, and then clips Brandon Moore. And here's the incident with the 27 and the 4. This might just be a matter of these guys checking up. Marshall sneaks to the outside. Oh, Hayfield getting into the left door of Gardner. Kind of just pushes him up the track enough to make contact with Marshall. So 2 separate incidents, same corner. And they become one. So that's official. We do have extra laps now. 1 green-white checkered attempt. The way this works, we'll give it one more shot, one shot only. Add extra laps, green flag will come out. The leader will take the white flag. If he gets there before the caution, they're going to race it back to the finish line. If the caution comes out before the white, that's going to end the race. There's no extra attempts. We've only got one here tonight. Other circumstances where there's multiple, if the caution comes out before the white, they'll add some more laps, they'll line them up again, and we'll try it for a second time. But that's just not the case in the ZeroX Strategy Series. One attempt, so these things don't drag on forever, because sometimes some leagues run unlimited, which, depending on the league, can get a little crazy. It takes you 45 minutes to run the last 2 laps of the race. Not the case here. So here we go. Green-white checkered attempt. Pace car lights are out. Chris Cornett going to start with Nathan Line on the bottom of the racetrack. Cornett taking the top again. Line on new tires compared to Cornett. Same tires. 127, the last pit stop for just about everybody there in the top 5, with the exception of Jason Blaney, came down at lap 123. Here we go.
Green flag.
Cornett with a good jump. Carries the lead down into turn number 1. No pressure really out behind. Nathan Line draws to a half car length and right there in the middle of 1 and 2. But on corner exit, Cornett with the lead and Line loose off the corner. He's going to lose ground. And the caution comes out and that'll end it.
Throughout the course of that last run, did you see any rubber laying down at all?
Brandon Moore gets turned. So that'll give the win to Chris Cornett. He's just got to go back around, but that's the race, folks. Caution flag is out. Cornett just has to run behind the pace car back to start finish and take the checkered flag. A well-earned performance tonight for Chris Cornett. He's led 103 laps this evening. And he'll lead the last one here as he'll cross start finish momentarily to pick up the win. Barney's waving it, and that's it. Cornett, Line, and John Tiller, the top 3. What a run for Chris Cornett. Started 3rd, had a fast car in qualifying. Once that guy got out front, there was really no looking back. Gardner coming in and spoiling the show. I think he's happy, folks. Well, with that, we'll step aside here. We'll get a quick break out of the way. We'll be back with our top 3 finishers after this. Stay with us, folks. Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop-lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series, Kyle Steffens UMP Modified and Silver Crown Driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws Late Model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook.
Need insurance coverage that's built for speed? Frank Yea's office in South Charleston has your back. Whether you're blazing down the highway, protecting the home you've built, or setting up a legacy for your family, we've got the coverage you need. Auto, home, life, fast, simple, and made for you. Scan the QR code on your screen now to explore all our services and start a free quote today. Lock it in, save it for later, or call us at 304-744-7700 to get started.
Back at Richmond Raceway for the Redmonds Lawn Care 150, Chris Cornett from ZeroX Sim Racing picking up the race win here tonight. 104 laps led en route to victory. Let's see if we can get a word with the driver of the number 88 Precision Setup machine. Chris, it's Steve in the booth. You got us?
Yes, sir.
Chris, congratulations, man. A dominant performance here tonight. I think 104 laps led en route to victory. Bunch of restarts there at the end as cautions breed cautions, but kept changing up the restart lane, sometimes on the bottom, sometimes on the top. What was the mindset there into doing that there at the end with Matt Sisler?
Just trying not to do the same thing over and over again. I want to start on the bottom, then I wanted to kind of mix it up a little bit, you know, just trying to throw them off of when I was going to go, where I was going to go, and kind of just throw them off, and it worked. There was like one restart where I thought I messed up the restart, but I still got away with it. Those cautions did help because they were fast there pushing it, but they were also kind of pushing it too hard, especially off 2, where you get a little slippery off that little hump off exit. But that one caution did come out, saved me, or else I wouldn't be here talking to you. I still had to make a pit stop and take fuel. My right front was not gone, but it was getting there. Just trying to manage that, but all in all, it was a good, clean race. A lot less cautions there at the beginning than I imagined, so that was pretty good. Good long run. So But we'll take it how we can take it.
Definitely a good long run there at the beginning, and then it got a little chaotic throughout the mid-portion of the race. The good news for you, you were out front for the majority of that, didn't have to contest with a whole lot of that. A bunch of those cautions, though, also kind of helped keep you out of some lap traffic. Some other drivers had some struggles with that here tonight. First win of the playoffs, rolling into Vegas next week. Can you go number 2 and pick up a second win in a row?
Yeah, I like Vegas, especially, in this type of league racing, strategize. I had a chance to win there when we were there last time, but that caution and a green white checkered kind of didn't even give us a chance to fight for it. But I did come out P2, so hopefully we can strategize. Fortunately, me winning tonight, I'll have to start in the back no matter where I qualify. So, but I did that last time, and we'll just take our time, save our tires, and work our way to the front to get another win.
All right, Chris, that's all you can do. Congratulations again on the victory here tonight in the Redmond's Lawn Care 150. Who do you want to thank?
Thank ZeroX for putting this on. Thank my teammates. Thank y'all for streaming. Y'all do a good job. It's actually pretty cool. Y'all doing it live now, so that's awesome. I don't think I did a interview with the other wins that I have, but thank Precision coming on board. Thanks Hoff for giving me this sweet Dale Jr. throwback paint scheme. I know I've been running it for a while, but it still looks good on track. So,
well, we certainly like it up here, Chris. Congrats again, man. Thanks for talking to us, and good luck next week in Sin City.
Appreciate it.
Chris Cornett, your race winner here at Richmond Raceway. Next, we'll talk to the runner-up, the driver of the Weed Bill Jacks, number 38, Nathan Line from Fueled Up Motorsports. We'll see what he has to say about his runner-up and if there's anything he could have done differently. Nathan, it's Steve with Track Limits. You got me?
Got you.
Nathan, congratulations, man. 13th to 2nd. Can't be too disappointed in that, but a lot of cautions there at the end of that one. Did that really cost you an opportunity at the win here tonight?
Yeah, that last one where Wesley got sideways, I just barely got into him and just caved my front end just in a little bit, costing me my drive out. So I couldn't attack coming out of the corners as much as I could before that. But other than that, it was a blast.
Certainly a fun one here to watch. Wish we could have seen it go a little bit greener there at the end. I know Chris Cornett mentioned without the cautions, he's not sure he would have won this thing here tonight. Was there anything you could have done differently with or without that damage to run down the 88 tonight?
I think I could have. I think if we would have went green, it would have been real close between me and him.
Well, next week, Las Vegas Motor Speedway, we get another opportunity at it. Intermediate-style racetrack, certainly not a Richmond-style short track. How do you prepare yourself for maybe a victory next week?
I just get the boys that fueled up together and practice.
Certainly all you can do. Nathan, congratulations, man. Who do you want to thank before we let you go?
I just want to thank everybody that puts this on. You guys, ZeroX, Dustin, my teammates, my beautiful girlfriend that's about to have our first child, and just all the sponsors, We Build Jacks, Clark Heating and Cooling, Admin Box, Factory FX, Action Sports Canopies, W, and New HT Radio.
All right, Nathan. Well, congrats on that. Good luck with the new baby, and good luck next week at Las Vegas. Thanks for talking to us.
All right, thank you, sir. Have a good one.
Two. Nathan Lyon, about to be a dad. Always good news to hear. Nathan, congratulations on that. Nice job finishing P2 here tonight. We'll move on to P3 and John Tiller. Let's see what he has to say. We'll pull the driver of that number 20 Clark Heating and Cooling machine into the broadcast booth. John and Steve with Track Limits. You with us?
Yes, sir.
John, congratulations, man. P5 to P3. That's not too shabby in my book. A tough race here tonight. Lots of cautions there towards the end. Did that factor into your finishing position here tonight?
Oh, yeah, it definitely did. I had those 2 or 3 cautions that happened right in front of my nose there and just got lucky to make an evasive maneuver and get out of the way. I honestly, tonight was a struggle for all of us, I believe.
Definitely saw a couple of guys that were uncharacteristically loose tonight, Jason Blaney being one of them. He went around on his own twice at least here this evening. Ray Hanneman had a tough night. Fueled up, though, still put a couple of them in the top 3. Is there more in store next week at Vegas?
Well, you know there is, Steve.
Gotta love the confidence. John, congratulations, man. P3 finish here tonight. Is there anyone you want to shout out to before we let you go?
Of course, a big, huge shout out to my wife, as always, for allowing me the time to do what I love on this sim. And shout out to all those fueled up teammates. Congratulations to Nate getting that P2. Thrilled for him. Of course, thanks to all the sponsors: Clark Heating and Cooling, We Build Jacks, New HD, Admin Box. Couldn't do it without all those guys. And of course, thank you, Steve, for the show you put on for us every week. It's definitely an honor to have you back live.
Well, thanks for the kind words, John. Congratulations again, man. Good luck next week in Vegas.
I appreciate it, man. Hopefully we'll talk to you again.
There's always that chance. John Tiller, third place here at Richmond Raceway tonight. Looking forward to more next week out at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. You know those fueled up guys are going to be very fast, but tonight it was all ZeroX Sim Racing and Chris Cornett picking up the race win here tonight. So let's take a look at our race results. Of course, we talked to Cornett, Line, and Tiller, your top three. Matt Sisler salvaged a fourth place finish on those old tires. Cautions really actually helped him considerably. And a little bit of contact there in the closing laps. He's still able to hang on to P4. Jason Blaney had a wild night. Spun twice. Still battled back to fifth place. Just makes you wonder what could have been. I'm sure he's going to be fast next week in Las Vegas. Brenton Watts finishes in the sixth spot. Ken Lowry was seventh. Tommy Pulte brings it home eighth. Clint Hayfield had a fast race car. I was really thinking he was going to be a top contender here tonight. Just didn't come together at the end. He'll finish ninth. Kerwin Marshall brings the Trash House Racing number 4 home with a top 10 after a disastrous start. Was almost a lap down. Again, he hung in with it, finishes P10. Wesley Jeanette, pole sitter here tonight. Talk about guys hanging with it. Dominant early and ended up getting caught out with some lap cars. Damage on the race car, and again, he didn't quit. He finishes 11th. A good points night for the 74. Juan Linares, a good night for him, finishes P12. Johnny DePasquale settles for 13th. Brett Summers was 14th. Nick Gardner, 15th. Austin Walton was 16th. Jason Aranchak comes home in the 17th spot. 18th went to Briley Hassard. Scott Stockel, 19th. Brandon Moore, 20th. Chris Pieria, 21st. Tony Smith, 22nd. David Kennard was 23rd. Ray Hanneman, 24th. Jackson West, 25th. And last but not least, Michael Thorne comes home in the 26th and final position, 114 laps down. He was involved in that first caution with the leaders that took out Wesley Jeanette. Not permanently, but certainly hampered his efforts here tonight. That'll do it for us here at Richmond Raceway. The Redmond's Lawn Care 150 in the books. We'll see you guys next week out at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Thank you guys all for tuning in here tonight. Thanks, Kerwin. Thanks, Todd. Thanks, Aaron Ashley, Derek Buckaloo, Jackson West, Ray Hanneman. I'm not going to read them all. There's just too many, and for that, we're thankful. Have a good night, guys. We'll see you next week.